Is it working? It says 30 seconds. It's taking forever to load. There we go. That's working. Is this working? Still says offline. I don't know if I can make this part work. This says that I should be live. On here, but I'm not. So, maybe this isn't gonna work. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I mean, yeah, we're live on YouTube. Why am I not live on Twitch? What do I do? How do I make this work? Does it just take a second? No. I haven't streamed in 4 years. Okay, well, I can, on my other monitor here, double check my stream configuration. What do I need to do? Settings? Stream settings? Primary stream key. I need the RTMP server. I mean, that looks correct. Let me hide it, copy it, put it in a something. OBS. Hello, we're getting Twitch streams. Yeah, I'm trying to... Oh, you know what it is? I forgot to remove a test flag. So let me hit OK, stop it, and then start it. I'm trying to do both. I'm trying to do both Twitch and YouTube and just see if one or the other works. Live now. Okay. So let me then go, I think I've got that. Let me then go to my, it's unstable, so maybe I can't do this without changing some video settings. Let me edit the stream info to be the same as the YouTube info. Let me copy this, go to here, do this. I went live doing this, tags, compiler, done. Now it says Choir Compiler Project on Twitch 2. I don't need the stream preview. I have the Twitch chat there. I'll probably, finally something I can watch while waiting. What you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Can I pop out this chat? I can. Ta-da, there's Twitch chat. I'm gonna move Twitch chat to be somewhere next to YouTube chat because it's unlikely I will need to touch anything anymore. We're almost ready to start here. I'm just double checking I haven't broken anything. If I reload this page, does it still say unstable? Now it just says offline. So almost, oh boy. Watching someone make a compiler while I'm making a compiler for a compiler. Yep. A plumber, the wastewater pipe of my sink broke yesterday in the evening, almost flooded my whole kitchen. Oh boy. That's not good. I would consider that to be bad. I can't lie. Twitch, TV, Nashiora. Did I just fucking die? Am I online? Am I offline? What's going on? Online, parsing a language, but I don't see anything. It says offline, but it also says online. I don't have to stream to Twitch if it's not working, but like, it says live on software and game development for 2 minutes, black screen. We might have to figure this out later. I'm also sleep deprived. For different reasons, plenty of different reasons. We may just have to not. So I'm using the OBS multi-RTMP thing here to just start and stop streaming to Twitch here. I have it configured. It says I'm live here, but I'm not seeing it. So I think we're just gonna stop. We're gonna stop the multiple outputs. That should kill Twitch. It should go back to saying I'm offline. It doesn't yet, but it should. There it is. Okay, so it's getting some kind of signal. It's just not working properly. Twitch is weird like that sometimes. Your Twitch stream is offline for me. Okay, interesting. So I'm getting the signal as the broadcaster. If I use authentication, do I need a username and password for the RTMP stuff? Like, here I can share some of the settings. Wait, your VOD is showing up now, and there I can see your screen. Really? Videos. I see it now too, actually. Creating a compiler 4 minutes ago. If I click on it, here's a VOD. So maybe it's working? Does it have everything I want it to have? That's a good time to unmute. It is definitely working. So I'm gonna delete this VOD. We're gonna try starting the stream a second time. Just cancel this without saving. It should revert. Okay. Restart. 0 copyright strikes. Beautiful. Let me go back to actually the live stream. Is it going to try to play a VOD of something? I don't know. I'm curious now, if I go to, how do I browse? And I go to category. Hi, hello. We are, before starting the compiler, I am debugging Twitch. How do I do that? How do I? It says fail to determine content classification for your Twitch stream. There's no software. Programming. Okay, let me then go to my dashboard, question mark? I don't use Twitch enough to know where things are. Stream manager. Failed to determine content classification. What does that mean? And how do I fix it? See, now I'm offline again. If I edit the thing, what are these options? Raid, manage, stream together? No. Because if I just edit, title, category. Wait, you're writing this in C# now? Yes. And it'll make sense. I don't really want to I don't want to fully explain. It's a Bootstrap compiler. I don't care what it's written in, and I was having a lot of problems with the C++ version. I was treating it like an experiment, and then I thought the experiment was going to work. It used to be in C, and then I tried a C++ experiment, and now I'm trying something in C#. The C version is still public. I'm not taking it down, at least for a long while. I might move it to an archive. The C version I'm having even more problems with because some of the final features I wanted to get in the language are causing me a lot of headache in the architecture of the compiler. And the scope of refactoring that version looks to be on par with just rewriting it again. So I figured if I'm going to put in the effort to rewrite or refactor a significant portion of the compiler, I'm going to first experiment in a couple of other languages and a couple of other environments in places that I'm a little bit more comfortable with mass refactoring. Recently wrote my bytecode compiler in Rust. Its error handling and data representation really clean. Nice. I don't like writing in Rust, but if other people do, that is not for me to judge. Session, bitrate, offline. It said it was online, and then it said it was offline again. Not Twitch chat, of course. I don't really have followers here to see, so we might just say fuck Twitch and try again another day. I'm gonna stop the stream and there's gonna be a VOD of this. Like, I already know it's going to work, but like, if there's no stream, only issue with Twitch and vanilla OBS. Eventually got it to work with Streamlabs. Maybe that will work. Oh, that's my wake up alarm that I forgot about. I too am writing a compiler in Rust and I find the AST to be a hassle due to borrow checker. That would make sense. I don't want to write a borrow checked AST because I think you're just gonna box everything. There you go. Yeah, just use box. But then, like, why are you using Rust? You have to put your AST on the heap. That's one sacrifice you're gonna have to make. AST is not gonna live on the stack, dude. In an arena, it's still on the heap though. Arena is still gonna be on the heap. Yeah, we're gonna stop the Twitch stream. I'm going to go to my I wonder if there's anything in streaming tools that it'll recommend. Stream Elements, Streamlabs. I could try Streamlabs OBS and see if I can get that working for both YouTube and Twitch. Streamlabs desktop. Because Streamlabs is just built on top of OBS, right? It should make LLVM and Rust is ass, yeah. I mean, at least LLVM provides stuff. Anyway, we've stopped the Twitch stream. I'm probably gonna have a VOD. IRC, you don't need to box if you're referencing an expression node from a statement. It depends on your like architecture, on how you did the tree, but yeah, probably. If your statements contain by value your expressions, if you want to do that. Self-containing things, yeah. Doesn't have to for not self-containing things. Not self-referential. Self-referential stuff needs. So it'll just depend on your architecture. Okie dokie. We left off yesterday getting some import stuff working. Let me zoom in slightly. I don't want to keep zooming in because I hate it. Everything's an expression is what varies. Yeah, I was tempted to do that with Laya as well, and I just don't think it's a good idea. C-like language does not like that. At least for the syntax and semantics I have in mind, it's just not as worth it as it might seem to me. So I haven't actually done much of anything since last stream. I got very tired. Took a long-ass fucking time to fall asleep. Woke up sleep deprived. Took a nap after I woke up. Anyway. Like, I'd love to be able to say var items equals for something, right? But then I have to define what the hell allocating an array of something through a loop does. Because that's just implicit memory allocation. And like in a language with like garbage collection or ref counting and not memory management is manual by default semantics, this is a lot nicer. There's a reason C doesn't do it. Well, okay, there's lots of reasons C doesn't do it, but the reason I'm not doing it in Laya is because I don't know what semantics I want for the cases like that I would like. There are trivial cases where that's not a problem, but they're less interesting to me. It should be, but I haven't gotten that far to know if I should do that yet. Okay, so we have two options. Parse more fun stuff to get. It's about to. Laia is trying to parse C headers, and this is part of the reason I'm not back in the C version, because I didn't want to fuck around with getting that to include LLVM or libclang. It might be worth doing at some point if I go back to it, but I'm probably not going to. We're probably going to do that eventually. Use C to link to libclang to get this stuff for the next version of the compiler. It's good enough. The LLVMC interface is weird. I have to use it if I'm using C# anyway. Their naming conventions are all over the place. Yeah, a lot of the LLVM C# wrappers attempt to fix that, and it's not great. But yeah, we can at the very least generate LLVM bytecode from C# really well. The Clang front end, libclang itself, is just kind of lacking, but it's good enough. The thing that it looks like we're missing in libclang right now is the C preprocessor, which is one of the least important things, but will be important for it to be fully featured eventually, so I'll have to figure that out. LLVM mostly works from C#. I've got a test somewhere of it. Let's see, one of these test files somewhere. I forget where I put it. Maybe it's still in the program, but I don't think it is. I had a test, core test. So this one can initialize all of the LLVM platforms. It can generate some code, and it goes straight to an O file that I can then link with the system linker or with Clang. So I can get all the way from actual code to an object file, which should be good for not having to rely on an LLVM compiler to be installed. We don't have to have a specific version of Clang installed if I can just go straight to object. So that's the goal for what we're going to be doing. Trading the LLVM with C++. Yeah, our last experiment was directly linking with LLVM from C++. And that part wasn't bad. It was just everything else trying to learn. 50 gigs of disk space. Is it really that much? Hold on. How much disk space is my LLVM? LLVM project build. My Ninja build folder. 7.5, almost 8 gigabytes for the entire build folder. If I went to bin and or lib, it would be slightly smaller, but linking times with LLVM are pretty bad. Yeah, before deleting the O files, that is. Hold on, no. Shoot, it's 50 gigs. Hello. Hi, Dev Connor. Welcome back. Is that what system data is taking up time? Might be, might be. It might just, yeah, depend on what you're building for, with what generator, what options, because I've only built 2 projects, and not everything was enabled for them, I don't think. I just built Clang and Clang Tools Extra, which depends on LLVM, so that also builds LLVM core. We may still use that build or some development builds. I did not do debug info. No, I do not recommend doing debug info unless you need to do debug info for that reason. That's probably why you have 50 gigs. Okay, so do I want to go translate some header files to Laia as best we can? Or do I want to keep parsing something? Oh, fuck my jaw. Why did that hurt? It didn't hurt, it felt bad. It felt like it should have hurt. Even though, yeah, words. Never mind. So, if I just only support import star for a moment, we can try to use this to build up our syntax tree, and then go parse the syntax tree from whatever we've got from C here. Let me do that, actually. 8 gigs, yep. About the same for me. Let's let's do the stupid thing first. Let's go figure out how to parse a C header file. I want that to happen somewhere in syntax and or semma. We are going to, I don't know where I'm going to put the actual call to reading the header files. It's probably going to be in syntax here, which will be interesting. So let's just create, we want some separate file, some separate class that will handle doing all of this for us, that we can eventually, if we decide to do so, slot in for our own compiler. So it'll have to be a wrapper around libclang. We're not going to expose libclang to any of the actual language front end. That would be easier, but not ideal. Okay, so let's say maybe we leave it in the parser and we say parser dot C header parser cheaders.cs. We are going to actually not want to do this here in the long run, so maybe I don't put it in the parser, because we want to oh, this is actually going to get really complicated. No, this will be fine. This will be fine. Here's what problem I just had run through my head. If I have int main that wants to return a macro expansion foo from C. Again, I don't know what syntax this is going to be. Oops, gotta go. Watch the VOD when I have time. Awesome. Have a good time going, hopefully. So your plan is to use libclang to parse the header, then to iterate the declarations and construct the AST for them. Yes, we're going to translate them directly to Laia so we don't have to do any fancy shenanigans otherwise. One thing I was thinking about hypothetically supporting at some point is, I should just make all these void because this doesn't matter. If I wanted to call foo from a macro declaration in foo.h, I need to already have had the macro declared by the time I get here. So I was going to say we should wait till we're done parsing and then defer reading the C headers till after and let semantic analysis handle everything else. But then here, we wouldn't know that foo, we wouldn't know the contents of the foo macro. We'd have to expand this to a list of tokens and parse a Laia expression. But we wouldn't be able to do that without reading the header files during parse before we get here. So one feature I was thinking of supporting is scoped imports. So you can import Vaz in bar to get a scoped version of this module only for this scope. Yeah, preprocessor macros are not going to happen today because it doesn't look like libclang support in C# has access to the preprocessor. So this will be a much longer term feature that might not happen in the C# version. If I can get libclang support into C# for preprocessors, then we'll do the preprocessor macro stuff. If I can't, then we're either waiting to go back to C and create my own bindings for libclang, or we're going to do the same, create my own bindings to libclang process, but for C#. I don't know if that made sense. But I wanted to do scoped imports. To me, this sounds like header files cannot be scoped imports. They must be at the top level here. If you're importing a C header file, it has to be some of the first thing that you do. And then if you do anything else and then do this again, that's illegal. If you were to support that, wouldn't you have to rewrite your lexer to support passing tokens to the preprocessor? I'm not sure what you mean. Unless you're saying this expansion should happen at lex time, I'm going to try to do it at parse time. we're going to have the parser support C macro expansions by just instantiating them in the parser. And anytime we want to read through tokens, we read through the expansion if it has any. You could do it in the Lexer. Usually you do it in the Lexer for C. I'm not going to do it for Laie, because that's too much. We don't know where these are in the Lexer. We're not parsing entire import declarations in the Lexer. So we have to do it in the parser here. So stdio.h. I want to try to get this working. So what this is going to mean is I need some entry point in parse C headers here. Let's set this up to have a private void, I don't know, process parse imported C headers. So in the parser here, we need to do a thing. And that thing that we need to do is going to be probably up here in parse syntax. When we're parsing a top level syntax, because maybe not actually, maybe it needs to happen in parse top level syntax. Basically, what I want to do is, if we're at import, let's just not even do a switch. If current token kind is equal to import, then, I mean, we're going to keep the switch here for a couple of reasons. I'm going to say var import decal is this, return import decal. And what I want to do here is have this be let me think. Let me put a flag up here with position that says private bool has only read imports, which will be true by default. If we have only read imports, and we are still at an import, where the hell am I here? Let's do, I'll refactor this in a second. I have to think in some structure. If we've only read imports, then has only read imports. Maybe. Else we want to do has only read imports is false. As soon as we hit a non-import token, we switch this off, and we're going to say parse C header files, and continue. So then here, var import decal is this, return import decal. I'm going to do some extra work in there as well. So what I want to do in here is determine if this import declaration appears to be a C header file import, which for right now we have determined means it ends with .h. So let me create a new static function. Private static bool syntax node import decal. For now, this just needs return import decal kind is equal to path. Syntax, not kind, import kind is equal to a file path, and import decal dot import name token import query. Maybe add an extra keyword would be nice. Yes, eventually somebody brought up that we could just say C header or something at the end here. So I'm going to think of a syntax for that eventually. But it's not the primary use case, and we're not at the point where any of this works in the first place. So we're just sticking with does it end with .h. So one thing I can do here is we have the module name. I'm going to include public string module name text, which is just going to be token module name text. So I don't have to think too hard. Module name text dot ends with .h. And we want this to be invariant culture ignore case. Okay, so is it an import declaration? We shall see. So if is import decal for C header import decal, then we're going to do something. And we're going to do the same check here. If it's an import decal for a C header, debug assert that we are not has only read imports. It's returning syntax node import. Would make my life easier. Okay. So then, in this case, we do something. In this case, we're going to report an error. Context diag error. Import declarations referencing C header files must appear only at the top of the source file. We can adjust errors accordingly eventually. So what this will mean is I can also say import foo and then import star from stdlib.h. And even though there's an import between them, we can still conjoin these because we haven't referenced any code that will care about, like, imports only import. They're not going to reference anything from these other imports, right? And then as soon as we hit, like, struct foo, this could be referencing something from a header file. If we hit anything that's not an import, we have to assume we're done with header files. And then we error if that's the case. Import declarations referencing C header files can only appear at the top of the file. Okay, so then here, I'm just going to add to a list of C header imports this import declaration. So private read-only list of syntax node import C header imports. And then way the hell down here again, C header imports add import decal. So if it's a C header import, we just do the thing. So then when we read and parse imported C headers, we should now have just if C header imports length count return. Don't have to do anything there. Now we want to construct a translation unit. So we're going to say var tu builder is new string builder. For each var import C import in C header imports tu builder append line. I'm gonna do a couple of things here. I'm gonna append line directive at, just in case this affects things enough that I care. We're gonna say the line number is C import location. Let's say C location seek line column in context. So then we can say var lock info is this lock info line value for now, lock info line, and then the source source file dot name dot file info dot full name, like that. And that's how line works, right? So then pu builder append line again, include, and then here is a question. I did not think this through. What I might have to do is then say system as a contextual keyword here. Because I don't think it'll matter. I think it'll matter. I don't think it'll matter. I think it might matter. Include supports two different syntaxes. Angle brackets and quotes. We don't have that. Does libclang not handle resolving header files? It depends. We probably have to give it include directories. But what's more important is the syntax of the include slightly changes the semantics for which directories are searched. I think the only difference is this supports relative paths and this does not. These are all your include directories and the system include directories. These can also be your project directory implicitly. So for right now, I'm not going to worry about it and we're going to angle bracket this shit, but we're going to have to think about that in the future. So we want to include c import dot text, the module name text. Then we want to say string pu source is tu builder dot toString. Now we can come over here and grab test.cs and figure out what the hell we're doing here. So we probably need file write all text, sadly. So we're going to have to do yield get random file name and put this somewhere on your hard disk. So we're going to say string tu file name is going to be source file name file info name plus dot c. We'll call it generated.c, like this. So then we need var tempter to be path get random file name. And just to double check, returns a random folder name or file name. But I also want tempter probably. Like, what does this actually say? Relative to let's get relative path. Get random file name. That's all it says. I want it to be within somewhere. So we want to say var tempter is path temp path. Returns path to the current user's temporary folder. Then I want to say path combine with temp directory and a random file name. And by random file name, I mean it really doesn't have to be random file name or random whatever. Should probably be. Zig only supports C imports with syntax. God, I hate YouTube chat. Does that say what it, with this syntax? That's probably what I'll do as well, but I at least short term. Long term, I would like to be able to mix C and Laia source code in the same directory and still reference the header files. Short term, it's fine. Short term, you're going to be adding Laia to an existing project and you can include directories and it'll be okay. We're going to do the random file name for shits and giggles. So then we're going to tempter create, directory create, temp directory. Okay, so then try all of this in a try. Finally, directory delete tempter true. Get rid of everything we don't need. So we're going to do this shit. The file name we want is going to be path combine tempter plus our translation unit file name. Its contents will be tu source. Then we can do ye old-fashioned this by including playing sharp interrupt, and it's using static this for shits and giggles. Both of these array empties can be replaced with the fancy old new syntax. Parse the index from the file's name with some other things here. So we have command line arguments and unsaved files. So we're probably going to be passing command line arguments to get include directories in here. So I'm going to actually say string array include, or clang command line, clang args is going to be empty, and that's going to go here, just so we know what the hell we're doing. Now these flags, I don't think we're really going to care about, except for maybe single file parse. I don't know what that does. Ignore, so none is okay for now. So then we have the translation unit. I have no idea how to check if it's got errors. So translation unit get errors. Diagnostic set. Any d error cat. What is category? I don't know what that means. Severity, aha. Severity is a CX error. And in this case, we can say greater than or equal to error. Bar has errored is this. If it has errored, we probably want to forward, actually, all of these errors, if possible. So, something else we're going to want to do here, which is not a problem yet, but could be, is this translation unit doesn't exist in our context. We can't report errors in this context. So if I, for example, for each var diag in the diagnostic set, I have access to all the diagnostics, but I can't just context diag error or something, right? Or issue is probably the thing that I would want to call overriding the diagnostic kind. Because diag location, interestingly, we can get both locations. Liaise locations require a file ID, which we don't have for most of these files. So we're just going to say if debug assert has errored. Actually, if has errored, I'm going to say diag context diag ice. We can't handle reporting clang diagnostics right now. that needs to happen. And then for each var diag in translation unit diagnostic set, we're going to report them anyway without the diagnostics engine, and then we're going to exit with an ICE. So, diag just like fucking toString or something. I wonder if this is overridden. Spelling toString. Okay. Clang format diagnostic. Ooh. Okay. If I said unsafe, var diag text would be diag format. We'll do that and just see what happens. Now this says it's an unsafe CX string thing. Diag text dot dispose probably is a thing. C string. What does C string give me? Is that just the straight up? That works. Okay. So let's using that. Then I can just console error write line diag text. So this might not even need to be unsafe, I can't tell. No, this is fine. Okay. Write diag text C string, that's what I want. So C string, I feel like we're gonna ICE afterward anyway. We don't actually have to free any of this that much. So then here, we're going to clang file, get file, and translation unit get or create from the translation unit. Are we using the clang file for anything here? Not yet. I feel like this has to be important. Translation unit get file is returning CX file. Clang sharp file. No. Okay, well, let's get a translation unit using clang sharp. So then for each var, var decal and tu translation unit declaration decals. We're gonna do a thing. Don't need this right now. So the next thing we need to figure out is what actual syntax structure here. We're going to want to put everything in a module, I think. So var c import module would be new syntax module. And a syntax module here requires that I give it a source file. So that is still something I have to do here in context get source file by its file info, which is file. So it's a var acquire file is this. So then our syntax module will do this. So then also, we can try to eventually start reporting errors within this file. We just don't have references to all of its subsequent files, which we can do for diagnostic purposes. We're just choosing not to right now. Because what I can do in diag location, we can ask for its instantiation and or expansion location, but also like the file name and stuff. So, right, if we get the file location, it's going to be a C void. It's going to have out CX file. Interesting. Out var file out. For right now, just do that. Out var diag file. Because So then I could say diag file dot name dot cstring. We would want to, if Clang did, or if Choir did not have a source file for this, it handles loading files if they don't exist. So then I could say var choir diag file equals context get source file diag file dot name and see if that happens. So that would be new file info name dot cstring, right? Then we can start reporting things here from Choir. But we don't want to do that right now. We're thinking about it, we're leaving it there as a potential thing that can happen. We have a new syntax module. It's going to be for this file. So here is a thing I want to consider as well. Our parser is only parsing for a module. It doesn't care where that module is stored. We probably care where a module is stored now that we're doing imports. For right now, I'm not going to care, but I'm putting into brain that this needs to be stored somewhere. It's gonna get stored in a list of imports, but it needs to also probably be stored in some big, here's every module for the translation unit, right? If I go to syntax here, I have syntax translation unit, which has add module here. What I probably want to do is say this. Here's how we're going to do this. A syntax module can be in public syntax translation unit. But by default, it's not. So let's do something about that. Let's then say if module.translation unit is not null, then I don't know, choir. No, let's just debug assert this. I need to figure out how to do better internal error handling eventually. Debug assert is null. Then module translation unit is this, add the module. So then I can say if module translation unit is not null, add module, c import module. There we go. So then in choir driver.cs, here's our translation unit. We're adding modules for things. Here's the problem. We need to add the module immediately. There we go. Then we're iterating through each module to print its tokens. Okay. Now back in the parser. Meanwhile, back in the parser, we can now add things to. Yeah, right, I can just do that. Now we can start adding things. For right now, I just want to console writeline decl. I want to see what the hell, if we're getting here at all, we should see an empty module and a list of declarations somewhere. So import declarations for feelings considered from only appear at the top of the source file. Okay, that's wrong. Because that's all we're doing. So parser, C header import, no, header, right? Import declarations referencing C header files. So we get this. Has only read imports is true by default. What the heck? Debug. Has only read imports is true. What is current token kind? Token import. One problem with the way I'm doing keywords is that is a problem. Okay. And then the next thing I need to do is this. Okay. Interesting. It has no idea what to do. Let me then debug by taking a look at our source. This is going to break in the parser. I need to remove that breakpoint. So our source looks fine. What if I don't include the line directive and then see what happens? So source just has includes.io rn. Oh, we can't do that in the debugger. Fuck. Launch JSON build. I need to be able to pass build some arguments. Because we're running with this TAC-R thing. I don't know how to do that. But actually, that worked. There's all the declarations included by c.io. So I can't do the line directive right now. We're just going to leave that. That's fine. It's entirely possible I did the line directive wrong. I don't need Twitch chat open anymore. C line directive. So, I mean, I did it correctly. We'll figure it out later. So now what we want to do is build up our own LIA module from, oh, that's not what I wanted. Figure some stuff out. Don't need that anymore. Where am I? Broke my browser for a second. That's not good. Hold on. Hold on. Everything is loading very poorly. Yeah, I broke some things. That's okay. Things can be broken. So now we want to see what we can do about some declarations here. Something I need to think about is the semantics of doing this import here. Because I may have jumped the gun. We may be doing... Oh, give me 2 seconds. Okay. Okay. I might need to mute this for a little bit. Right, so something I need to think about is. Right, so we're doing a syntactic parse for Laie. But we need access to see type-checked stuff. I guess since it's type-checked, that's fine. We're just generating bindings, so this might actually be totally fine. Okay, we're just going to roll with it and see what happens. I need to... I need to start generating some things. Fuck. I'm starting to lose track of my thought process. I've got a lot going on in my head with this system. So let's just say var node equals create C binding syntax from the declaration itself, and it needs to have what does it need to have? Well, I don't know yet. We're going to find out. Let's private syntax node this. This needs to take whatever this is, which is a decal. Cling sharp decal. Let's switch decal dot. Do I have a kind? Do I have access as function attrs availability body canonical decal cursor children cursor kind? Cursor kind? It might be cursor kind. What is in kind? See decal kind. That's probably what I want. Okay, so we need a CX decal kind. Switch kind. Default is just going to do nothing. Then case decal kind. Let's just say function. Let's see what we can do with a function. Break is... Okay, I think for now, this is going to return null on declarations we haven't processed. So we can just say, if node is not null, then C import module top level nodes add this. So we need. God, I am so distracted. This is not good. Okay, sorry, I've got a personal conversation going on the side that I don't know what to do with yet. Okay, we need a function declaration here. I wish I knew how to get to sys.io from here. I might have to go look at that. But, let's just create an empty declaration. We need a syntax node. We need to public class decl function. A decl function needs some things. It always needs a name, it always needs a type, it always needs a parameter list. Decl function needs to be syntax node. Sorry, if this personal conversation keeps going, I might have to stop stream to go do that and then come back later today. Syntax node needs a location. I'm going to give it, for right now, we're going to say a decl function just has a token for its name. So this is a syntax kind, we're going to say decl function, and it's decl name location. right? That gets me both of these. And then I can override children, get yield return token declared name. That'll get us a little bit more debug view into what's going on. So let's say var token decal name needs to be a new syntax. Why? Am I typing things wrong? I'm confused. New syntax token, syntax kind identifier. We need a location out of decal name. Decal as function. Does this give me a decal function? Function decal, okay. Var decal func is this. Decal func name. What is name? Name is an actual string. Okay. I'm going to hex value equals decal func name. It's not going to have a super good location right now. The location we're going to do is going to be in our source file. So we need source file, the file it came from. So that's going to, we're just going to say one quire file dot file ID for now. We'll figure out the actual location in a second. So this needs quire file. And then we're going to return new decal syntax node decal function of just the token decal name. And I'm curious what the hell this is going to do for me. We're still printing all the things, but we'll get a new module as well. There's a lot of functions. They're all at the wrong offset, but there it is. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to mute my stream. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right, I'm back. I don't know how much more of this I can actually do. Right, now we're going to try to build the syntax tree from C, which feels weird. But we're gonna see what libclang provides to us, and if we need to take a break to go re-architect some things, we'll do that. So I have a location. Someone forgot to make an announcement on Discord. I see. You're right, I forgot to make an announcement. And that was an hour and 20 minutes ago. We were having technical difficulties at the start of stream, so I just forgot. Let's go do that. Announcement, announcement, copy, announcement. I am losing the ability to type. There we go. Now you got a ping. My bad. So what is the location of... Do I have any other location information? I probably don't. But we can at least use this location here to try to figure something out. Well, we really can't, can we? We're not going to have actual location information without resolving all of the import files correctly. So if I get the file location of the token, the instantiation location, do I know? So Raid, maybe you know the context of some of these names more than I do. If I wanted to get the location of a function name, even if it was expanded from a macro, right? Which it shouldn't be, but it might be. Get instantiation location. If it wasn't instantiated, is that just going to return the default location, or do I have to check if it was instantiated somewhere? And what I probably want to do here is var clang file is context get source file from... Oh, yeah, it might be. That's probably true. Get source file of decal location file location question mark. That's a what does it return? CX file. Oh, and that's out. File. Okay, so do I have just the name? I just want the file name. Okay, let's decal location, get file location. This is going to be out var cx file, out var line, out var column, out var offset. Does this return anything? No. So then I want cx file dot name. Try get real path name, maybe. Dot cstring. And that is a new file info. Why is this happening? Am I typing too fast? There is a point of instantiation location in function decal, which is the point at which the function template specialization was first instantiated. Okay, that makes sense. So then we can say location for the important thing here is going to be at offset. We're just going to call it 1 for now. Offset needs to be an int, and this will be claim file ID. Let's see if that gives us slightly better information or if I blow up the compiler. Path is empty. Okay, so this doesn't work. If I just do name, that's probably not going to work either. The path is still empty. Why is it still empty? For the name, there is a separate declaration name plus location. Yeah. So I'm getting the function declaration's name here, which is just a string, but I don't have specific token information yet because it's kind of gone. I mean, does it just not have a file? Can I check? What do I do here? Console write line. Let me not do anything with a location. I'm just going to set claim file equal to acquire file and offset equal to 0 for now. And cx file dot name. That's not what I wanted. Chat back. I want this back. So there are some blank files. And then here's all the rest of the files, which is good. We like this. So I wonder what this means. I'll have to figure out how to resolve this kind of stuff too, because I don't know what that means either. At least we're getting the full path. That's exactly what I want. I just need to know what this is. What do I do about that? For right now, I can say if C, those seem like they're built-in declarations. Oh, if decl is built-in, maybe? Ah, B, what? Is implicit. Is implicit is not a thing. Implicit declarations are like the built-in VA list, which often don't have a valid source locations. Yeah. So then I guess I'm more curious now. Console write line. Do they have valid line column? Line column offset. And then include cx file name just for shits and giggles. It's a lot of functions. So If everything is 0, that's what we want to skip. So if we'll do that. Then we can do this. Then we have the offset in the Clang file. Cool. Cool. So now Clang is pretty strict in making sure everything has valid locations. So if the location is invalid, it's probably implicit. Yeah, that makes sense. It's entirely possible that I just make my locations invalid too, but I'd like to be able to report some errors in C if possible. I do worry that this is leaking a fuck ton of memory. Right, because a CX string. So if I'm doing get file name and then turning that into a this, does Clang get C string, for example, manage its own memory somewhere? Because, I mean, it has no idea what I'm doing with the C string. I assume the C string is a span in Clang as well, a string view, probably, into the actual text, maybe. So if this CX string, this Clang get file name, goes out of scope, then so does the name. But I mean, this is as string. It's copying this for me. I don't know. It's probably a foreign declaration out of somewhere. I don't know them either. They seem to be roughly calling C functions. I don't actually even know what Clang is here, so. Yeah, this disassembly doesn't tell me what any of this is. Because I know this is going to give me a copy. That's fine. It's just if this is memory, it's fine for now. We can figure it out later. I know I have to copy it out of their memory. Okay. There's Clang get C string and loop Clang. Yeah. That would be what it's calling then. So. I need a few other things here for my decal function. Let's start defining types. We want public class abstract class. No, we don't want a dedicated type based class. We're going to say public class type void, syntax node, syntax kind void. We'll say type void. And then we need a That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So then I want to give it a type. Okay. Yield return type. So then our type, well, in this case, this should be return type. Looks like a CX string is sometimes unmanaged, sometimes backed by a small string, and sometimes allocated with malloc. Woo! So maybe, for example, I have to say source file, claim file, using var name string equals this, claim file equals name string, CX string. That might be what I have to do. Because the real question is what it's backed by. Because in the managed language, as soon as we get the data that it's backed by, this CS string here, CX string rather, CX string is disposable. I can't click on it right now. If I go here, it's disposable. So that's the equivalent of an explicit destructor. So if I do this, we're going to explicitly destruct name. Okay, so var return type syntax is going to just be new syntax node. Why does this keep happening? What am I doing wrong? Type void, which needs a void token. Now, do we have access to any information about the decal func return type? There's a return type and a declared return type. These are decompiled, so they might not. It might not have significant docs. Some things have docs, some things don't. At least inline. I haven't looked online for it yet, because I haven't really needed to. So return type and declared return type. What are their types? Declared return type is whatever declared return type is. Return type is return type, whatever that is. Declared return type is just declared return type, okay. Return type is the same thing? Yep. Okay. I don't know what the difference between these is at the moment, so we're going to stick with regular return type, assuming it's done some transformations. Var return type is this. Return type, does it have a location? It does not. I guess I have to switch on syntax node return type syntax. Can I switch on return type kind and by default just create void syntax with var empty token is new token syntax token syntax kind missing new location at 00 claim file ID case void. this is the real place I want to return void. So I'll need to like move this into a place that can turn type syntax into an actual type. Get declared return type gives you auto. That's right. Okay, so we want return type would give you int. That's good. We do want return type then. I may as well actually just go ahead and say private syntax node create syntax from type. Actually, this is just create C binding syntax. Let's just do that here. Let's say if we get to type void that we do that. So then we just return this. Oh, but this is a CX type kind. Ooh. So then what about private syntax node create C binding syntax source file, acquire file, type, switch type kind, maybe? I'll have to figure out what the actual type of this thing is, but... Right, because this is... Return type is a clang sharp type. And default is just going to return null again. So then I can say whatever return type syntax. Var return type syntax is create C binding syntax for acquire file for decofunc return type. Like that. So then I can just, for the time being, if return type syntax is null, return null instead. What did I break? This, that, this, because I don't have the clang file yet. I should probably take the clang file instead of the acquire file for this. Okay, so there's type void. It's only returning things which return void, so we did that right. I don't need the location of everything. The only real important thing is the location of the actual function name, which we have now. So these missing tokens are totally fine. Here's the thing. Do I want type void to be its own thing? It's just wrapping a token. I might just want to create a token void and return that, and then not have type void. Tell me the difference between decorator pattern versus currying. What the heck? I cannot. So this instead is token void as the return type, which may or may not be correct. Okay. So another type kind would be case cx type kind dot. We can do bool, cars, car. Lots of things I don't have completely built in right now. Because one thing I want it to be L value reference. Oh boy. Null pointer, member pointer. Lots of Objective-C stuff. Record. That's the one I'm looking for. Because we need to know what information the record is storing. So type record. As CXX record. I don't know if that's a good thing. If I get as record decal, record type, var type record is this, return null for right now. I'm not really referencing anything to make this project. I'm referencing my past decade of experience here. So that didn't crash the application. If it was record type, it returned it. It's entirely possible, though, that there are no record types. Let me return null. And then here, let's return the void token. So anything here that gets returned that returns void returns a record, which it doesn't. So that doesn't prove anything. So I can't really do record stuff yet. Oh, God, tired. I don't really want to transform the entirety of my Clang AST right now. This might be a good enough experiment for me to continue with later. I haven't been streaming for as long as I normally do, but it has been almost 2 hours, and I am tired and need lunch. We've kind of proved that it works. We still don't have access to the preprocessor, because Serrated, it looks like there is no... If you're parsing this in C++, you'll get CXX record decal instead of record decal. It's a tag type. Right, but we're not right now. It's being parsed as C for sure. At least I think it is. I think it's being parsed as C for sure. I could be wrong. I don't even know what's in record type. Type record. Because, like, what's a CXX record decal here? Because it's a declaration. What else is in record type? Nothing really. Just the declaration that it's referencing. So then, our decal record is type record dot decal question mark. Yeah. Is cast as what I want then? Yeah, so what I could do instead is if type is record. Hold on, actually. So this is referencing this is whatever. And yeah, I probably still want to use get as. So let's say if type get as record decal is decal, or not as record decal, as record type is type record. Then do stuff. So that gives me that. That's where we want to work with. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I need to figure out exactly how I want to store types in the syntax tree. That's a big one. I could probably do modifiers, but I don't really want to do that right now. I might have to come back to this later today. I think I need to go do lunch, go talk to some friends, go relax. Didn't sleep well, so I'm running on kind of empty already. There might be a second stream later today. I might do some cleanup and then stream again tomorrow, but I think I have to call it here. I'm getting way too brain sidetracked and struggling. So, thanks for tuning in. Join the Discord to get notified if I remember to notify you, because Saray didn't get a notification because I forgot to notify people. Oops. It's in the description. And I'll see you later to either continue going through CASTs or just parse Laia instead for a little while. We'll see what happens. Goodbye.